with Atlantis. A lot of this always connected. The psychic named Edgar Cayce said it was not only going to be found, but he said it was going to be found between 1968 and 1969.
Okay.
Right? Now, Bimini Road was discovered in 1968. Now, here's the even crazier part. He said a lot of the people that he did readings for were past residents of Atlantis.
No, we are Atlanteans.
Yes, I'm
One way
afraid
or
of water,
another.
though. I'm afraid of water. I cannot swim.
I can't either.
I would be one of the Atlanteans on like the land level.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Ankles wet only.
Yeah, as deep as I feel comfortable.
Yeah.
Ankle height. Hey, what's up, guys? I'm Tahir Moore.
Out of shape Joe Rogan. Mike Glazer. My Eddie Abel just kicked in. It just kicked in. Couldn't be happier with my life right now.
And this is another episode of High in the Sky, the podcast where we get high
We ask why.
and allegedly.
Allegedly.
We throw that in for safety reasons.
Yeah.
Legal reasons.
Lawyers, they get paid a lot.
They do.
Yeah.
They get paid a lot to basically just regurgitate what they've studied in books, but they remembered it. That's the thing. It's not enough to just read it. You got to remember it and understand it. It feels like a lot of information just to carry around with you at all times. So you're in the courtroom, but like, wait, that's just like such and such versus such and such. Oh, I object. This is a lot. It's a lot.
Yeah.
Shit.
But anyway, we don't want to deal with that, so do your own research too.
Yeah. That was basically us saying, I mean, listen to us, but don't listen to us.
Well,
right?
listen to us, though.
Yeah, but listen to us first, but don't listen. What we're saying is a law, okay? It's
For
not
my
Bible.
birthday this year, we're doing a pizza party at Comet Pizza, but underneath it, where all the kids were.
Yeah.
And so if you can find it, like come March 28th, we'll be there.
I'm going to be doing mines at the Denver airport this year. The first clue is by the big blue horse. And if you can find the second one, then you can pull up.
That's so sick.
Yeah.
When you turn the horseshoe
Yeah.
and the little, anyway. Yeah.
You got to flick the left testicle, and then a card drops out, and then you take that. But today we got a very interesting show. This is one of the topics that I love talking about. Like when I used to watch like all the shows that came on the History Channel on HLN and stuff like that. Anytime they talked about Atlantis, I was all in.
So you believe in Atlantis?
I want to believe it. I want to question everything. I think that the same way I feel like it's very arrogant of humans to believe that we're the only intelligent life species in the universe. I think it's the same thing can be said about on Earth. Like, I don't even think we're alone on Earth. Like, the
Definitely
ocean is
not.
so vast, and we haven't even, like, we've made as much, we haven't made a lot of traction when it comes to discovering
There's new
what's in the
species
ocean.
being found in the
Every day.
depths every day.
They're writing down every species in the ocean in pencil because they might have to erase this spot and then like put this here because it's just
Yeah.
because it's just so much. And I'm gonna be honest, the ocean scares the out of me.
Oh, I've almost died 3 times, 3 of which were in the ocean.
Yeah,
You ever play the video game Subnautica? If you want to talk about like scary games and scary ocean,
no.
there's a video game called Subnautica, and in it you are stranded on an alien planet and you have to get back, but to do so you have to go through all these tests. But the more you explore the planet, these things called Leviathans come, and you'll just be like swimming in the water in your little robot suit, and you'll see like, oh, there's like an angelfish and it's, got a rainbow behind it and it's beautiful. And then you turn and it's this like, and it's a monster and it'll eat you alive. And then they grow bigger and bigger. The Leviathans are terrible. And I firmly believe that there are those like sea creatures under the ocean.
That's a movie.
In the ocean.
That's an old movie called Leviathan, I think.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I think from like the 70s because there's a new one, or people were talking about this creature. And I started doing some research on it, and I was like, I saw it came out in like the 70s or 80s, but it looked bad. Like,
Ooh.
I think it was on Max, so you might be able to find it on Max and watch it on there. But
I love
I didn't
Max.
want to.
You see Aquaman?
I did see Aquaman.
Aquaman 2?
Unfortunately,
I was on acid for 2.
why?
This is beautiful.
Okay, I had to go back and check out too to see the beauty part. It's not like, what is that, Max? Mad Max. That was beautiful.
Yeah.
On acid.
That's a top 3
And,
for me.
Yeah, it is. I mean, visually was beautiful. I got a crazy story about that. We'll talk about that later. But close to Aquaman 2, also the Meg and the Meg 2.
Love those too.
Those are great movies where they give a nod to this underwater world
Definitely.
that could possibly be associated with Atlantis. A lot of this always connected.
So for Aquaman, loved Aquaman #1.
Yeah.
One of the most successful box office hits of all time. I think
Yeah.
it made like over $1 billion. And I remember watching it, and I remember there was a scene. I was like, "Oh, this is absolutely for the international Chinese, Japanese audience,"
Mhm.
because the scene didn't make any sense, but it looked like Tokyo or something. I was like, "Ah, nice job, EPs, nice job." So we loved it. I loved it so much; it was perfect. That for the second one, me, bunch of friends, my girlfriend Tina Tazi, we all went to the Grove,
Yeah.
and my friend bust out a spray, and he was like, "You want some acid?" And I was like, "Hit me." Under the tongue, spray, like 5 sprays each. My girlfriend didn't do it. She's smarter than everyone. She doesn't do drugs.
Well, somebody has to drive home.
Yeah. And we watched it. We loved it. We're laughing through the whole thing. It's magnificent. And then we all got a pickle flight because there was a pickle farmer's market area. And we got a flight of pickles. And we just sat around talking about death and trying different pickles for like 3 hours.
That might, and you've said some white things to me, but that might have taken the cake.
We'll have
me
sour.
And my friends went to the Grove, took some acid, had a pickle flight, and then we sat around and cried and talked about death for an hour. Whitest you've ever said to me, possibly on camera, okay? Possibly on camera.
It was such a nice afternoon.
Okay.
Wow, hilarious.
The underwater city that they had in Aquaman. Well, first of all, there were multiple nations around.
Yeah.
Kind of like how Atlantis is supposedly the domain of Poseidon. This is where he stayed, and he met a nice young lady, you know what I'm saying, took her out for some mead, and then they messed around and had 10 kids all at once. She had 10 kids, just popped them all out. That's actually not what happened, but supposedly she had 10 kids, and this is all from...
She decamommed?
Why do you know the word for 10? Is it really deca?
Yeah.
Okay. But I liked how in Aquaman they had these different, it felt like different parts of the cities or different cities when they were going through trying to recruit the other generals or other leaders of these cities. And it was cool to see the technology that they had. Like they were still swimming, but they also had stuff that they would fly or like they would push stuff with. The thing that did me up in Aquaman is like they were just talking regularly. Like,
yes.
And there were no bubbles. It was like, all right, hold up, bitch.
Mm-hmm.
So you mean to tell me like when you say a B word, ain't no bubble gonna come with a B or a P word? But your majesty, nah, bitch, why ain't no bubbles right there? Mm-hmm. You know, but that was the only part that kind of threw me off, but I digress. Now, I love the technology they had. I feel like that was a nod to Atlantis because Atlantis was supposed to be one of those cities that was like highly technological, super advanced. That all checks out. So that's what we're talking about today. We're jumping all the way into Atlantis. We're going to talk about if it was real, what proof we might have to support this, or if it influenced different movies or shows or stories. We're going to talk about anybody that believes it is real, what supporting evidence they have. And we're also going to talk about where it might be if it had been real.
Yeah.
You know where it started based on Plato's Allegory. It was somewhere around the Atlantic Ocean, but this is during the time of Pangea. So this is one big ass continent, tectonic plate shifting, earthquakes, volcanoes, time, erosion. There's no telling where it could be, but we're going to jump into all of that in this episode. So kick back, get you a nice little J, you know what I'm saying, a little edible. Remember to do your research afterwards because, again, this is all allegedly, but we finna jump into it a little bit right here, Mike.
So if you, actually, this is a good one. Drop it in the comments. Do you think Atlantis is real? And then drop a double in the comments if we change your mind by the end of this episode. Let us know.
Quick, if you do drop that in the comments,
nice.
I would love for you to drop a timestamp in there so we can see like at what point of the episode or what factoid or what allegedly got you to switch your mind and had you coming over to the other side.
I love that.
Yeah.
Nice.
Timestamp that bitch.
First, we got to talk about Plato's Allegory.
Let's talk about it.
He's done some writing.
He has. He always pops his little ass up in here.
Always does. He's in all the episodes mostly. So he's always writing things, as we all know. And in this one, you touched on it. He wrote an allegory, which we'll actually go into a lot through this episode because some of it turns out maybe it's not an allegory. It could be fact.
Yeah. But just for clarification, we have to say this because this is part of allegedly as well. Allegory is not history. Okay, so don't get the two mixed up. Allegory is something that somebody came up with, they wrote, and it has been in place for a while, but it is not history. You won't find this in any of the history books that this actually happened. This is something that he came up with.
You really want to go down a history rabbit hole?
I don't necessarily
History's written by the winners.
Always by the hunter, never by the gazelle.
Exactly.
All right,
Yeah.
cool.
All right.
I'll give you
But
that.
I hear you. I
Yeah.
hear you. The allegory essentially is like this dude Poseidon, great god,
Mhm.
one of the best gods. We all love this god. You go through the Atlantic Ocean, through the Strait of Gibraltar, and you find this land. And Poseidon hooks up with this mortal woman, like
Yeah.
you were mentioning, wines and dines her, gets her some mead. They go on long walks. He's like, I've never met a mortal like you. And she's like, I've never met a god like you. Big kiss as the sun
Yeah.
is
Oh, yeah.
setting.
It was very cinematic.
Very
Absolutely.
cinematic. Dolphin over the sun because he controls.
He knew he had her once he brought her back to the island.
Locked
Like,
in.
all right, yeah, you living in what it could be known as, I don't know, Jerusalem or England. And he'd be like, yeah, come back to my place. I don't know. I have to stay overnight. Don't worry. I'll bring you back.
Exactly.
They speed through there and he just pops up. This land of honey and
So 10 kids with her.
yeah.
You know what happened to me on a beach once?
Mm-mm.
I proposed to an ex-girlfriend with a twist tie from a trash can. Daytona
I'm
Beach.
glad that you are the
Spring break.
ex-boyfriend.
Oh, I was a mess, dude.
Yeah.
She was too. We would get in huge fights and
Mhm.
then have makeup sex and then get in huge fights. It was college.
Yep.
And one time in the middle of Daytona Beach, we got in a huge drunken blackout fight. And I
Mhm.
ran after her and we are yelling on the beach like a reality show.
Mhm.
And I grabbed a twist tie and I was like, I love you. And I got on one knee and twisted a twist tie around her finger and she wore it for the rest of spring break.
Boy behavior. That's all of that. You and her, y'all both deserve to be apart because that sounded like that was just a train wreck waiting to happen.
So much toxicity you would have evaporated.
Yeah, yeah. I would have been eating Tums every day, talking to you on the phone. Like, okay, so what did she do? Really? That's crazy. Well, no, why would she think that? Then just pour pink Pepto Bismol all over my face. Like, say when. Say when.
Your wife opens the door, talking to Mike again.
Yeah. He's really going through it. So it had
Had the 10 kids
10
with her.
kids, which is crazy.
It's crazy.
Yeah, but you a god, so it's like, it's what I do.
Man, can you imagine those orgasms?
Yeah, he's
You
not
think
pulling out.
Also, Plato wrote that he gave her even more orgasms. How about that?
Well, I mean,
He didn't write that, but
yeah,
you know.
he's a god.
And so 10 kids, one of them named Atlas.
Mm-hmm.
Atlas, of course, then came to find how do I want to say it? Like he ruled over this land called
had dominion
Atlantis,
over it.
a utopian society. Everyone there is popping off. We have great technology.
Right.
Everyone is like well fed. There is peace. Then magic gets involved. You have black magic versus white magic, is what they called it in Plato's time.
Yeah, in Plato's time, right, Mike? Made mention of that, huh? Wow, state the obvious, huh?
You know, black magic is bad.
You ain't shit.
White magic is pure. Yeah. So, but ultimately, what happened was greed,
Yes,
chaos,
yes,
like everything bad, all of the sins,
power,
it all corrupts. And so then the gods made a huge flood and washed Atlantis away, never to be seen from again, except we've been searching for it ever since. And there are a lot of things that say Atlantis might have truly existed.
Well, I mean, real quick, I also want to give a shout out to Atlantis Army. I don't know if that's a real thing, but they had a amazing, powerful, dominating army, which made it easy to conquer and get that thirst for power.
Yeah.
So, and I mean, you're already eons beyond anyone else when it comes to technology. Like, they got rocks and sticks on fire trying to fight you, and you have lasers from ships. So, you know what I'm saying? It's not even fair. But
for sure.
I do feel like that Atlantis, or the allegory of Atlantis from Plato, has influenced, like we said, the movies that we're seeing. Even like when we talked about the Eternals, because we're going to get into how some people think that maybe Poseidon wasn't a god, but maybe he was an alien from outer space, and this is all connected. And some people believe that even Egypt was one of the sister cities originally of Atlantis.
I
That's
believe
how they
that.
Yeah,
I believe that.
That
We'll
would
go deep,
explain
but it
a lot of the
sense.
that we still don't have answers for.
100%.
You know what I'm saying? Like how the whole, it's crazy. We only be having an hour, but it'd be so much information, because as soon as we tack on to something, I'll be like, yo, you should go check out. But since we don't have the time to do it, you guys should just go ahead and check out our episode on ancient aliens, because I mean, it explains a lot. touches on a lot of things that I wanted to say right now, but I won't because it's repetitive. I've already said it. We've already said it. But
if the pyramids were aided by the idea of Atlantis, it would make sense to me.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
absolutely.
100%. Although I did, my girlfriend and I moved in together.
Mhm.
We were getting the place set up, and I had to move a dining room table by myself, and so I put those little slider pads underneath each leg. You know what I'm talking about? The slider pads?
Yeah.
And I moved that table
Like a saucer.
A saucer, yeah. I'm cruising that thing around the whole space like it's nothing. I was like, yo, if they had these during the pyramid days, you could move a stone with 2 people easy.
But that's easy to do over carpet. I mean,
hardwood floor.
Hardwood floors.
Yeah.
How hard would that be to over sand, though?
There was sand.
It was sand. It was hella sand. But we'll run. We'll get on that, and we'll go down the rabbit hole.
And we should cut that out. Yeah. All right.
Where the beep would Atlantis be? Okay, where's it at right now? Where's like all the gold and all the treasure? Where like this?
Yeah. Isn't that Minnesota? Michigan?
What is this?
Where do you live in Michigan? And they're like, oh, I live like right here.
I've never heard that. But I also haven't really talked to people from Michigan. When I found out they're around there, I'd be like, it's okay.
Do you still want to hear the joke about where Atlantis would be on my hand, or should we just move on?
Yeah, but where would Atlantis be?
Oh, it'd be right here.
Did you guys get that? Was that another high joke? He's been doing those a lot.
I just want to shout out 50 milligrams in this moment. Some people can't handle it.
Where's Atlantis at? Where could it be? All right, because it's obviously not where they said it originally was. Some people believe it's in the Greek islands. Now, a lot of little small islands over in Greece. There was a Minoan civilization that disappeared about 4,000 years ago, possibly due to a massive earthquake or a volcano eruption.
Oh, okay, so we're mixing up the natural Ds.
Yeah. You got to have enough Ds scattered around because we've been stuck on that flood D for a while. But switch it up with, earthquake. We got a volcano D in here too. Tsunami D, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But tsunami still kind of like the flood because it come in like that. Yeah,
sure.
Tsunami's over water. But now this one kind of gets me. Some people believe that it could be in Antarctica.
Let's go.
Right?
I'm
already a fan of that just because Antarctica is just so unknown and inaccessible to regular people. They have like this scientist camp there. But if you first of all, Antarctica doesn't belong to anybody. I can't wait till we do this Antarctica.
I know,
episode.
right? Like if you invade, that's a declaration of war with the world.
Yeah, with the world. Not with
world.
one country, with the world, because everybody has stake in it, but nobody owns it. Nobody takes ownership of it. That just makes me know, not even think, that makes me know it's some crazy, freaky, deaky going on in Antarctica.
Keystone.
You go through one cave and it's going to be like 110 degrees. Everybody's naked. They're like, woo! What took you so long to get here? Grab your Coors Light, man. We're over by...
Yo, Denver Airport is a direct elevator to Antarctica.
How cool would that be?
Come on.
Come on, Illuminati, man. Give us our jackets, bro. Like, come on, man. We doing the Lord's work out here. We getting people ready. But Antarctica, man, some folks speculate that Atlantis didn't really fall into the ocean like a lot of people say, but rather it was moved to what is today Antarctica. Now, I had questions about, I'm like, well, how the did it get from Atlantic up here down in Antarctica? But again, you think about if you're thinking about naturally, it could be from when Pangea broke up, through tectonic plate shifting, through earthquakes, volcano eruptions. If you believe in aliens, they might have had the technology to be like, boom, let's just move this here.
100%.
You know what I mean? Like this is Atlas. This was Atlas Island anyway. He was controlling this. We was like, man, let's just move this down. Ain't nobody gonna come down here to Antarctica anyway. Especially if you think about how cold Antarctica is now. I'm sure they knew it. All right, we move it down here. It's on the lower part of the pole. It's gonna freeze over. Nobody will be able to find our technology. We come back and get it when we're ready for it.
Yeah,
that's how I think they were thinking. But if you believe in the alien theory, then I don't think that's
no. I like yours. I like the idea of like buried treasure.
Yeah,
in
hell
Antarctica.
Yeah, man.
I thought you were going with the Atlanteans are moving to Antarctica, and that's like Atlantean gentrification in Antarctica. So it's like this place was like perfect, polar bears chilling, everything's happy, and now you got like flying saucers and
Yeah, they were
lasers
like,
everywhere.
oh, the Slenders are here. This neighborhood's really going to trash.
Yeah.
Let's just move.
Yeah.
What, our
Ooh.
house? No, let's just move everything. What are you thinking? Antarctica? I heard they don't like the cold. Yeah, so I mean there and then there's also
Oh wait, can I share something with you?
Yes,
I just
please,
learned.
please.
The cool thing you were talking earlier about like unknown things in the ocean.
Mhm.
In Antarctica, like December 14th of 2024, they found a new dragonfish that's never been seen before. And so like the fact that you're in Antarctica and you're finding species that have existed, but we never knew they existed,
And that in those waters too.
In those waters too. So like the idea that Atlantis could be there, there's no reason to think it could not be preserved. If we're just finding dragonfish, like wait till we find a merman, you know, that's going to be true.
That's gonna be a trip.
Yeah.
And one of the last places that some theorists believe that Atlantis could have been or could be right now, sitting below somewhere, just chilling, waiting for us to come up on it, is the Bahamas.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. I want to
Smart
go look
move.
over there. Have you heard about Bimini Road?
What is it?
Bimini Road?
Bimini Road?
Bimini Road in the Bahamas.
Bimini Road in the Bahamas.
Bimini Road in the Bahamas. Bimini Road in the Bahamas. Bimini Road in the Bahamas. Bimini Road in the Bahamas. Bimini. Okay, so Bimini Road in the Bahamas in 1968, some archaeologists saw something very strange in some shallow waters. And I'm just going to sum it up for you guys. All right, big stones, right? Big rectangular and square-shaped stones in the bottom of some water in a path that looks like a road.
Yeah.
Right? And people, these theorists and these archaeologists believe that this could be one of the paths leading to Atlantis. Like this could be like the opening, or it could have been moved, or maybe Atlantis was originally right there while we were thinking it was in the Atlantic Ocean. It was here the whole time. And this was like the opening from our land to Atlantis. This is where they was like, yo, go get some girls real quick. And it was like, all right, let me get on over to Bimini Road. This is where it could have been, right? Now here's the crazy thing.
Yellow
right
Bimini Road.
Right. Some people and naysayers believe that these structures and this form happen just to natural erosion, but I think they're gonna put it on the screen. But if they don't, go look at Bimini Road, right? You see these structures on this ocean floor, right? And you see the shape, you see the 90-degree, even after all of these years in erosion, you still see enough to know, like, no, this was cut, this was made.
It's a road.
It's a road. Like, so I'm not going for that whole erosion. Scientists love, shut the up.
They're obsessed with erosion.
Right. Push your glasses up your nose, okay? Stop doing this interviews and get that rope around the back of it. So there's this psychic. This is crazy, right? This psychic named Edgar Cayce, who predicted this very thing back in 1938.
Okay.
Right? Now, Bimini Road was discovered in 1968. In 1938, Cayce predicted this. He said it was not only going to be found, but he said it was going to be found between 1968 and 1969 in this exact same area. Dang. Right? Now, here's the even crazier part. He said a lot of the people that he did readings for when he was a psychic were past residents of Atlantis.
Okay,
and
so
they're the ones who told him where to find it, when it was going to be found, and all of that. Now, come on, bro. Like, I get if you're like one of those people that I need the science, I need to know this, and I get that. But this man predicted this in 1938. They found it in 1968. 30 years later, where he said, around the area where he said, that, bro. I'm not going for coincidence on this one.
No.
I'm not going for coincidence. I don't even believe in coincidences, but that is creepy.
Yeah. No, we are Atlanteans. Like, that tells me that we are the descendants of Atlanteans.
Yes. I'm
One
afraid
way or
of water,
another.
though. I'm afraid of water. I cannot swim.
I can't either.
Yeah.
I
would be one of the Atlanteans on like the land level, because it's like it's level 1 level with water, and then they got the water drained out in this land. That would be me. I'm a scientist on the land level underneath water.
Yeah. Ankles wet only.
Yeah. That's about as deep as I feel comfortable.
Yeah.
Ankle height.
I swam. Did you swim with your shirt on as a kid? I did. White shirt too, so you could really see the titties.
Yeah, it depends on, like, if we were at a pool, then yes, because my titties was tittying even
Same.
back then.
I sit down and they rest, right?
Yeah, and I have unusually large areolas.
Wait, well, what's unusual to you?
Like it's like a piece of bologna.
Oh, that
is
unusual.
Yeah, like my areola goes from here to here. It reaches to it crests my rib cage.
Wow.
Yeah, it's weird.
That's like a shield.
I thought about getting surgery, but I was like, God made me special. It looks like a target. When I walk outside shirtless, I look like it looks like just target practice season. Okay? It's very weird. People throw water balloons at me, aiming just for this.
Really?
Yeah, I've had a helicopter come close. He thought it was a landing pad.
Oh, no kidding. You were laying down getting some sun.
Or just getting a little sun of a sunbathing.
Yeah.
It's good to do every now and then. Just lay on your stomach, fellas, and just toot your ass up and let the sunlight get in that sphincter. It's very hefty. I saw it on HGTV.
That's hilarious.
Yeah. Sunbathing your sphincter.
Oh, I'll give that a go. Yeah. I'll give that a go. If I'm going to boof a red pill, I'm going to get some sun up there. It's always hidden. It's like Plato's cave. Wait, can I ask you another nipple question? Would you ever get them pierced?
I thought about it. My wife just mentioned that last night.
Yeah.
Yeah, but no.
Why'd she mention it?
My wife scares me, to be honest with you.
All right. I'm just trying to get to know your personal life a bit better. What you're talking about at dinner. You know, sitting at the table. How was your day? Would you get your nipples pierced?
It's way more casual than that.
Okay.
My wife literally, I got out of the shower, I was drying out, she walked by and she flicked it. She was like, does that do anything for you? I was like, you know it don't. She's like, I thought one day it would change. That's who she is as a person. She's one of the funniest people I ever met. But right now I want to hear from you guys. Do you think that Bimini Road is an actual interest to Atlantis, or it was an interest to Atlantis? Do you believe in what Helena said? Where you at right now? Post something in the comments. Let us know what you're thinking. Did I turn you yet? Did we turn you with all the information we've given you thus far? We got a little bit more, but where are you landing at right now? I want to know if there are more believers out there, because we're trying to build our own cult right now. We're trying to get some believers, because we get 40 members in, we can get a jacket. I think one of the most interesting things is how they had this utopian society that was beautiful and they wanted for nothing, and then how greed infiltrated, and it was just like, it was no stopping it. It's almost kind of like the fall of Rome.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It's like this amazing
fall of America.
Oh, hello. Final season coming up next.
It's not good. It's not good.
I don't want to have any spoilers for you, but guys, it's going to be really good.
What's our chief export? Diabetes and corn syrup? Is that what we're bringing to the table these days?
But just like Rome, man, you know, it's one of those things that are super fascinating, and people that it goes hot, goes crazy for a couple years or a couple months, then it kind of dies down, but it always comes back. And that's the same thing with Atlantis, just like Rome. Like they were doing the TikTok videos with Rome. You remember that little trend that they were doing about how Rome was destroyed? Or
because Tina was like, do you think about the Roman Empire?
Yes.
Mm-hmm. And all the time.
Yeah.
Oh, God, yeah.
The skirts was so fire.
Yes.
Oh my God, I would have killed it as a Roman soldier.
You would rock that now. You would look fantastic.
Yeah, listen, since I lost the weight, guys, I have not stopped crossing my legs, okay? And like, if I had on a skirt, I would be a lady and I would cross at my ankle. But I mean, because I don't, I'm right here with it. But trust and believe, I would have been killing in the Roman army.
Wait, when you were a little bit heavier, you wouldn't cross your legs like that?
If I tried to do this leg would fall off. You ever pull like a G.I. Joe too hard on a leg? Because I had the little rubber band. That's what my leg would just fall. It would just do that. It would, meow. That's what it would do. Because my body wasn't built for that. My leg, if I tried to do this longer than 30 seconds, this part would be on fire. I would need icy hot and a water gun. I would constantly have to shoot it like it was WD-40 to cool that shit off. Okay, it's a lot of heat coming off this undercarriage. Like even right now with the weight loss, I feel it. Like I could roast marshmallows right here.
Really?
Yeah.
Char them
heat,
up.
baby. Huh?
Dang.
Yeah, I've charred up, baby. Okay. Some people that believe that the story of its destructions is real.
Yeah.
It validates the authenticity of Atlantis existing. And that's what we're about to jump into right now. So we got this guy, Ignatius Donnelly, right? Ignatius Donnelly. First of all, I don't know where the they was pulling the names from back then, but, you know, it's the conversation you should have with your dad.
Yeah.
It's a weird name. Like that IG is like, ugh. That's what now your friends call it, ugh.
Uh-huh.
Donnelly. Ugh. Donnelly's here. But anyway, congressman created this, he wrote this book, might have been self-published, called Atlantis the Antediluvian World.
Okay.
Right? I mean, already you're like, oh, okay, that's a interesting word choice right there. Like, you really picked that right there. And if my thing is that if you're well versed in this, all right, Donnelly, everybody else is trying to get there. You name the book something like this, it's like, oh, this guy's
Hard point.
Hard
entry point.
Without pictures, this is going to be hard to do. But I digress, all right?
What if we called it Atlantis? I think this might be the answer.
All right. What do we call this? Atlantis. That's it, bitch.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, it gets straight to the point. But again, I will give him props for this because he gave us basically the groundwork, the foundation for everything that we base Atlantis off of now was inside of this book. He was the godfather of Atlantis folklore. He's sitting at the table, I'm making you up, you can't refuse, you use all my information. It's basically what he did.
Dang, I love that his self-published book was correct after all. What a justice moment.
Yeah, it was crazy that this was, like, he was selling it on the first eBay back then.
Yeah,
it was
100%.
They called it eBay.
Yeah.
Everything arrived by ship. That's a stretch. We're pushing it, folks. We know that. But he believed that Atlantis was this incredibly technologically advanced society. Basically, all the tools that we got from the Bronze Age and the alphabet, the ironwork, all of that came from Atlantis. And basically that we're all descendants of it. I mean, if you go back far enough, that's basically what it's saying, that, you know, some of us still have that RH blood, which could be the reptilian blood, which also connects to where they originally said Atlantis could have been, right?
Yeah.
And it was because, like, basically in Pangaea, where it would have been close to Europe, and you only get that blood in certain places close to Europe and Spain.
Yeah.
Right? So they could be descendants of that. You know, I mean, basically all the groundwork for what we think Atlantis may have looked like. It's shout out to Iggy.
Dang.
Donnelly's here.
Shout out to Iggy.
Yeah. I wonder if he blew up while he was alive during, like, his book sales.
Well, I mean, he was already a congressman, right?
Yeah. But my congressmen don't be getting no.
I see what you're saying.
You ain't never seen a congressman, this is representative of Delaware. I'm like, ooh, oh my God, damn, bitch, what they doing in Delaware? And nobody said, no one ever, okay? That's what I wonder.
Yeah, why aren't you working on the unhoused problem? And he's like, I'm actually working on something else a little bit bigger right now.
When I figure out what his island is, ain't nobody gonna have a problem with housing. How about that? Am I right?
Oh, shit. That's very funny. I like to believe that because if everything is cyclical, then we will have an advanced, like, maybe it's robot us is going to be the most advanced of this current evolutionary cycle. Like, and so I like the idea that, like, Atlanteans were the pinnacle of that evolutionary cycle. And then they, like, through hieroglyphics and just through, like, trauma through the body generationally and just, like, whispers of things and books and all of that stuff. Like, I like to believe that was left by them for us.
I agree.
You know, that makes just as much sense to me as anything else.
I really want to ask the people at home, like, you know, as we go throughout this episode, and if we are changing your mind, we would love to know that too. But how would it change your perception of importance, existence, what you were raised on, all of that? How would that change your mind if we did find out that Atlantis was real and that somehow, some way down the line, we are descendants of this Atlantis colony? Like, we have some of their blood heavily diluted at this point, but, like, how would that change your perception of life? Would it change it? Would everything be exactly the same? Would it make a difference? I want to know that too. Put that in the comments if you got a moment. And you got a moment, because we got about 40 more minutes in this episode. So go ahead and put that in there right there. Nothing talking about. Also, remember where he says, what Donnelly says, that the Atlantis could have been is around the area where the RH negative blood was.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? So people with RH negative blood, some of them had the little tailbone too.
Sure do.
Right? And that could help with swimming.
Sure does.
You think you do? It's so crazy to me how much a lot of these theories are connected, and I feel like it may be flimsy, but I feel like that still is connected to it.
I don't know, man. I mean, the truth is just putting the puzzle pieces together, right? Building a case.
Yeah, that's very true.
Also, what a cool congressman.
Yeah.
What a cool congressman.
We
I'd
don't
vote
get him
for
that
him.
cool anymore.
No,
we
not
do not get
anymore.
him that cool anymore.
Now they're just whispering stocks to each other on the side. They aren't writing books about Atlantis like they used to.
That's very true.
You know?
I just thought about something, guys. I mentioned that RH blood. If you're not familiar with that, then you should probably check out our Reptilian Elite video, because that video right there, first of all, is going to blow your mind, and it's hilarious. But you can learn a lot about what dots I'm connecting right now. Come back here and you be like, oh, snap, I missed that the first time. That's what we're here for, baby, to help. I'm here to help. Okay? Be careful. Baby's on board. Anyway, Donnelly also believed that Atlantis was destroyed during a natural disaster. And he says that there were few survivors who carried the story of Atlantis around the globe. They traveled, telling people about the glory days. Oh, man. Well, man, back in my days, man, we had flying ships. They were like, what the is flying?
Tell me all about it, Atlantis grandpa.
Right?
Yeah.
But, I mean, when we start talking about the destruction of Atlantis, or the potential alleged destruction of Atlantis, we're going to get back into how it was supposedly destroyed, because there are a lot of theories with that as well. But one of the theories is that damn flood. It's always a goddamn
floods are always
flood.
happening. Floods are always happening. Is it hack? Is it hack at this point?
At this point, it's kind of hacky. It's at this point, it's a knock joke. It's always there.
Yeah, gods are sitting around a table. We got to get this going. What are we going to do? You know, we're limitless power. We can do anything. How do we want to handle this?
Flood them. What? Flood them.
Yeah.
We did that last time. So what? We got an infinite amount of water. Flood them. What if each, like, if you believe in the theory of that, you know, all of these entities and all these people that we're talking about, like, what if they are the aliens, and like one person's in charge of, like, all right, we got to leave, we got to destroy it, like, do something different this time. Oh yeah, I gotcha. I'm gonna set it on fire. Flood them. You're supposed to torch it. They're not gonna find it in the water. Come on.
Big blue button.
Come on, Bimini Road. So that's Donnelly. Donnelly had obviously a very, I don't want to say vivid imagination to downplay what he did, because it, like I said, it has set the structure for so many things that we've built on when it comes to Atlantis, and it comes to movies representing what Atlantis may have looked like. But he was very creative in this, because I don't think he had any real science to, like, back this up. This is just what.
No, but then it turned out a lot of what he was writing about was accurate.
Yeah, but he wasn't the only one. We also have Helena Blavatsky. Now, I'm gonna be honest with y'all, right? This lady was kind of out there. She was, I'm gonna just say it, like, I would, if she was sitting at my lunchroom table, I would get up and leave quietly, because I know she gonna say some wild shit, and you just never know what type of stuff is gonna come out of the person's mouth that acts like this. Now, she was a Russian spiritualist and occultist who founded Theosophy religion. Anytime people that they just be founded in religions, I'd be like,
love it.
Man, you really getting all the tax breaks right now, ain't you?
Yeah.
Man, why not think of that?
You ever seen that preacher yell at the reporter about his private jet?
Well, there's so many that have private jets.
That dude looks like he is possessed by the devil.
No, wait, which one?
Kenneth Copeland. They're interviewing him. He's a mega church guy. And they're like, how do you explain your private jet? And he goes, now you listen to me, like that. It was wild. And then he goes, it's wild. And she's like, I'm just, reporting. And he's like, like, it's gnarly, dude. Those dudes, megachurch preachers are something else.
There's something, especially once they get a following, man, you can't tell them folks nothing. Now,
so Helena was one of them?
Yes, man. All right, so she believed that there were 7 root races, all right? Okay. I'm not going to go through all of them. I'm gonna just give you the first one. The first one was supposed to be like a primitive amoeba while the earth was still cooling off. This one emerged. The second was the Hyperborean, which is, it just sounded like she just threw a lot of letters together from Scrabble and was like, yeah, this works.
Yeah.
The third
hey, Helena, what's the second one?
Hyperborean? They bought that.
You're our leader.
Killing it. The third word, giants,
Giants.
The third word, giants.
So we've gone from
who reproduce by laying eggs about 34 million years ago.
Okay, so a couple problems with that. Are they squatting, if they are giants as we
Yeah.
are perceiving them,
Yeah.
are they squatting so low onto the earth so the egg does not crack? Or is the egg so thick that it falls out and will not crack when it lands on the ground?
Well, they're giant, so they probably have like a squatty potty.
Yeah.
Right? They got a little squatty potty. They sit on the side of the mountain. They just sit right there, and then they get ready and lay the egg because you got to have the feet up. If not, then hemorrhoids, right?
100%.
Ain't no preparation H back then, so you got to do a little bit of that right there to help it get on out.
You've talked about toilets in every episode or toilet adjacent specifics.
It's a big part of my life. It should be a big part of everybody. Everybody poops.
That's true. But wait, how many like drinking game instituted?
Okay.
Every time, including now.
Okay.
Every time you talk about
a potty,
a potty or something potty adjacent. Cheers.
Cheers. Look at the eye. 7 years bad.
Yeah.
Is that 2 sips? I don't know.
Double sips. If you want to play along with this game, because Tahir talks about toilet stuff a lot, so cheers to you as well. Bottoms up, literally.
Okay. All right. Yeah. Well, first of all,
that's great.
I don't appreciate how much you guys are clocking my talk. Okay.
It's
I'm a
prominent.
talker.
It's prominent.
Okay.
It's prominent.
This should be a regular thing. Guys.
Hold up. Let me get my drink again. Okay, go ahead. It should be a regular thing.
It's a regular thing.
Yeah.
Now I will say this: my wife sometimes she worries me because she can go like a day and a half, 2 days without pooping, and I'd be worried about it. I'd be like, "Yo, you need to go see somebody about it. You need some more fiber."
Mm-hmm.
You know, so I started putting like just a spoonful of fiber, like Metamucil.
Positive poisoning her.
Nope, just in her coffee.
But she knows about it.
Yep.
Oh, okay.
She be like, "You got to stop because like the coffee's running through me way fast." I'm like, "Long as it's happening, you should be thanking me." Poop City! We on a run!
Why is this the only thing that makes me uncomfortable? Do you know
I
what
don't
I'm saying?
know.
I don't know.
You ever take a forceful poop? Like you
forceful?
go in? Yeah, you just wait till the last minute and then you run in, squatty potty.
I'm gonna be
just show that toilet who's boss.
Yeah.
Yeah, there you go. That's...
Bottoms up. Play along. Jesus Christ, man.
I hate it here.
No, I like how braggadocious you are about being regular.
Hey, man, I just feel better after poop. Isn't it everybody? Don't you feel lighter? I feel like I've taken a good poop before, and I was like, you know what? I'm gonna go running. I don't go running, but I feel like I could.
You could.
And then I stand up. I be like, nah, I can't. I'm just.
That happens sometimes. I don't know if one story. If we're gonna, can I play bottoms up too as a drinking game?
Yeah, please.
The other day it happened where I thought I was done pooping, and then I stood up, and I think your intestines like unfold when you sit up. So then like round 2 shoots down the chute, and so I had to sit right back down.
It was a vacuum effect.
Yes.
Yeah. So when you stand up, it opens up, and it's like, oh, but because you're coming up out of that hole from the toilet,
yes,
it's a, and that's what happened. And that poop said, pop, right there. You was like, oh, real quick.
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah.
I've seen it before. There's a whole diagram right now on YouTube about how your digestive system works and how the toilet can actually be like a vacuum. And because you have 2 sphincters, right? So one of the sphincters is there to make sure you don't poop like you do. You can look.
People are hammered right now.
Nah, I know, but I'm finna put you on the game right now. This is one of the things that I know a lot of about. No pun intended. But the 2 sphincters right there create like to make sure that you don't accidentally. But when you if you've been sitting there for a while and it kind of has made a vacuum seal around your cheeks when you stand up, that's what happens. And then it like sucks it down. Now here's a crazy thing. I'm lying. 100% lying. That's how good I am. That's how good I am. You know what I mean?
You are my guru.
Hey, man, you got to believe it. When you lie to people like that, you got to believe the lie first. I said in my head, I was like, I'm finna get this. I'm finna believe everything I say. And look at it. Look at his
you
face.
You Helena'd me.
Yeah. Look at his face. Helena the out of you, boy. Storvorsky.
Damn.
Yeah, man. Really good at being bad. But the fourth form of humanity were the Atlanteans.
Oh.
This is what she's claiming. So she acknowledges them. She says that, this, which is crazy to me because it's like, okay, so we had this amoeba-like primitive ass race,
Sure.
right? And then we had the right? And then we had giants who laid eggs,
Yep.
right?
Yeah.
And then went to these technological wizards. That's a big jump, Helena, right? Like nothing in between, just egg-laying humans, then wizards and magicians and Poseidon and Atlas. Nah, man. But you know what? I ain't gonna yuck nobody's yum. I'm gonna let you have it. You had followers. People were tithing. People working, giving their money to Helena. So you pulled it out, baby.
Yeah.
I don't believe that, but
I would've.
allegedly. You know what I'm saying? Atlanteans lived on Atlantis more than 850,000 years ago. And they were larger than the modern man. Now, that part I can believe. I can believe that. Actually, you know what? It's weird to think about that, too, because I feel like humans were smaller, like, earlier on. Like when they were first colonizing America. I feel like they weren't as big as we are now.
Even down to Neanderthal, yeah.
Well, I mean, I wouldn't say the Neanderthal, but I can't say about them, but I'm just thinking about, like, the that they was eating on these ships. They was eating crackers and fish and like that. It's like, how, like, you can't with me and I got GMO chicken and meat.
Mm-hmm.
Like, this ain't no farm. I'm not eating farm to table chicken. I'm eating steroid-filled chicken breasts and chicken wings. I just feel like we're bigger, but
definitely.
I think that the idea of humans being bigger way back then during the Egyptian times and things of that nature also kind of tacks on to, like, that the gods had or made it with humans.
Yeah. Or
these aliens made it with humans. Whichever theory down the journey that you want to take, that makes more sense, especially when it comes to something like the pyramids. It's kind of like how we mentioned in the Ancient Alien Gods episodes. They could have gave the humans during that time something to make them bigger, make them stronger, or biologically engineer them to be, they were created just for this goal of building these pyramids. Like, that makes a lot more sense, even though the pyramids took like 20 years still to build, though.
Yeah.
That was crazy.
That was crazy.
Yeah.
Dang. Okay, so you don't believe Helena.
I just want to say I do support women. Okay, I am a feminist. Let's just get that clear first. But no, Helena was on that bullshit.
Okay.
Stravoski was on that Buskoski. that was straight bullshit, man. But I love it. Like, if you can get some people to gather around you and you a great storyteller, do that man.
I agree.
Yeah. I was telling people for years because they would listen that I was a vegan. They were like, you were the fattest vegan I've ever met. I was like, I know. I deep fry my salads.
Deep fry?
Mm-hmm. Deep fry my salads. I use a chocolate-based salad dressing.
Are you talking about an ice cream sundae?
No, I was just making a joke about I would tell people whatever I wanted to when they would listen. So that's what I feel like Elena was doing it. She was just winging it.
That's what I was doing too.
You always do that, though. You always do that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's tough, man. My eyes just go somewhere else so much of the
time. You
time.
black out. When you go on your rants, your eyes glaze over, and that's the perfect last name for you. And you just go.
It's weird.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay.
Get possessed by an anxious man. So I get possessed by these like weak ass ghosts.
Hey man, nobody's perfect.
They're like, if he's the only one who's susceptible to this, I guess we'll go in there.
Yeah.
100%.
Slim pickers.
I always thought it'd be funny if like I die and my unfinished business was like dry cleaning or something, like picking or like throwing out
as
like,
a ghost.
As a ghost.
So you keep haunting like the dry cleaner or something like that.
And so like I'm having to do like bullshit errands. I'm having to possess someone to get my errands done so I can finally pass over.
They just snap to it in the backyard, pulling stuff off the line. What am I doing?
I'm so sorry. I just need you to like weed this little pathway for me. Get up on out of here. All right. So anyway, so dig this. Your friend Helena should hang out with Zachariah Sitchin. They would have a field day. That would sell out Red Rocks, no doubt.
You know what's crazy? Because I feel like Zachariah is more about the aliens.
Yes.
This being aliens, and Helena was more about like this just being like the evolution of I don't know.
Mankind or something.
Right,
right. Yeah. Yeah. Well, I mean, then one of them has to be right. There's
Yeah.
no
Yeah.
other thing. It's either giants laying eggs or it's Anunnaki lizards who are creating human Anunnaki hybrids to mine for gold on our planet. Like it's one or the
Yeah.
other. So, but I like the idea of Anunnaki lizards being like kind of Atlanteans and everything else. Just the idea of aliens coming down, you know, hanging out with us, like combining with us, and then we become, you know, gold mining lizard people. I like the idea, Zachariah. So, you know, I'm pro that. Like, hey, drop in the comments. Who do you believe, Helena or Zachariah? Because one is correct. Obviously. Zachariah is my choice. It's way more fun.
Yes, but think about the people who, you know, people don't like change.
Oh,
right?
100%.
We are super resistant to it. Think about the people who this is going to completely shift their mind and like destroy them from everything that we have been taught.
If we find giant bones,
yeah,
and an egg crater underneath those bones, squatty pottied out giant
that'd
bones,
be crazy,
underneath the sands of Egypt,
yeah,
then Helena's right. What are you gonna do about it? What, are you gonna tell me that God hid those giant egg bones? Because that's been your case for a while now with dinosaurs. Now you're gonna tell me it's giants too?
But that changes everything, because that means that like it challenges religions, and it also confirms the fact that we've had alien presence here before.
Yes.
And alien influence on the seven wonders of the world, potentially our existence, our longevity. They taught us potentially how to harvest and support ourselves and create our own food. Basically, agriculture. Agriculture. They taught us everything about that. It changes everything.
Everything. But you know what, man? I'd rather know the truth.
Yeah.
Than be willfully ignorant because I can't handle the idea that the answer has been found. I can't with you if you are not going to say that the drones in New Jersey are they are aliens. Let's call it out for what it is. And Joe Biden is going to be up there being like, oh, we don't really know. And it's like, dog, that's because you are really dead, but like other people know. So do you know what I'm saying? Like, I'd rather know the truth. That's what this whole thing is about. I want to know the truth, and I know I can handle the truth.
Yeah.
And so I can't with you if you don't believe that Zachariah Sitch, an Anunnaki lizard, human hybrid, gold mining aliens is not true.
I can dig it.
You know what I'm saying, though?
Yeah,
like, just like tell me the truth. I don't care what it is. If it's God, great. Tell me that. If it's not God, tell me that. Like, that's the only thing about being a human that is so frustrating to me is how we like know death is coming, but we know nothing about what happens after death. We know that there might be a God, but we can't prove there's like, it is an unfun prank to be in this liminal space of humanity on the things that matter the most.
Okay. I could dig that. So ladies, what I heard, just in case you're wondering, is Mike will go through your phone while you sleep. Okay, because he wants to know. He needs to know if it's real. He needs to see you texting anybody else. Just put a pin in that. You know what I'm saying? Just in case you walk by, you know what's going on right there.
I like to date women who sleep on their back, so face recognition is easier to use. There's also, it just dropped, and so I don't feel comfortable talking about it, but shout out Jimmy Corsetti. He's always always on Rogan.
I don't know him.
Dude, you got me. Dang. I even felt the communal energy.
I know.
I even was like,
sorry. That's such an asshole move of me, man. I had to take that one up, but I apologize. Go ahead. I'm sorry. Jimmy Corsetti.
So funny. I consider people like Graham Hancock and him like the preeminent experts on Atlantis. And Corsetti was just on JRE talking about the spot in the Sahara. And all of these, there's like 12 parts of Plato's Allegory that line up with this area in the Sahara, like Rishot Circle or something. This is why I would just shout out at Bright Insight, or check out, if you don't already watch JRE, check out the one with Jimmy Corsetti or all of them with him. But yeah, he's like, shout out to him because that dude knows Atlantis inside and out. And I think he's the one who's going to like facts.
You know what's crazy? It's like you can like know a little bit about a lot of things and people are like, oh yeah, you have a conversation. But if you know a lot of something about it, regardless of what it is, you're like, it's a different type of respect. Because like I know enough about Atlantis to hold a conversation, obviously to do an episode, but like somebody like Jimmy who's devoted like, I would imagine probably like 15 years plus to that knowledge of this one thing that may not even be real tangible, but you're a master at that. It's
Yeah.
admirable.
It is, especially if you follow it all the way to real discoveries that feel like absolute fact by the end of it, like so worth the journey.
But it's also like there's also the opportunity to be like a consultant on like even the movies that we mentioned, Aquaman 1 and 2, the Meg and the Meg 2. I'm sure they're consulted, they're asked about stuff from the movies to the shows like Stargate Atlantis, the real adventures of Johnny Quest. I don't remember, somebody mentioned DuckTales, but I don't remember a whole lot about the DuckTales episodes. It was like the original episodes, but they said some of that was about Atlantis as well. And then also the video games. You got Assassin's Creed, you have Tomb Raider Underworld, Echo the Dolphin. Remember Echo? Oh my God, that was I forgot what station that was on.
Sega Genesis.
Sega Genesis. I thought that was such a weird game to be playing as a damn dolphin. It was such a weird game to me, but neither here nor there. But and speaking of weird, I don't know why, but Waterworld just popped into my head. Remember that?
Yeah.
That was a weird one too.
Kevin Costner.
Kevin Costner with the webbed feet.
Gills behind the ears.
Gills behind the ears. Yeah.
Tips off the man. They're like, get him. Yeah, man.
Shout out to Kevin Costner. He's had some good movies, man.
Unstoppable force.
Yeah.
Wait, I had a weird man, I'm stoned. Why do dudes always want to fish? Every movie and TV show.
I don't know.
Guillermo, like Best Picture, Shape of Water, Guillermo del Toro.
Yeah.
It's I want to have sex with a fish. That was his vision.
That's why I didn't see that one.
Little
I was
Mermaid?
like, man, I don't get on that one. You remember that one thing on Discovery Channel when they was like, oh, mermaids, and it was like, it was a mockumentary of like what mermaids might look like, and then it had went to commercial right when the mermaid had threw his hand on the like window or something like that.
Titanic style.
Yeah, it was crazy, right?
Yeah.
But like when they show them in like movies of like, I don't know, I can't remember if they were in Pirates of the Caribbean, but I feel like some Sirens were in there. They always make them look like really hot too.
Mm-hmm.
Like a mermaid be like, yeah, come on over here and swim with me. You're like, bitch, you know I can't swim in that. The water deep as hell. Okay? You gonna catch me if I jump? You gonna catch me? Why they always make mermaids so sexy though? They're creating the allure.
Oh.
Now I gotta jump in and see what this bitch talking about.
Interesting. Okay? But what if they're sirens? You know
that's what I'm
is?
saying. Yeah, the sirens are the ones that trick it. Come to me.
Yeah.
Jump in. It's fine. The water's great. Like, bitch, it's 38 degrees outside. I know that water cold because it's cold outside the goddamn water.
Mm-hmm. I can see your breath while you're singing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Come to me. Bitch, your breath just froze. And, like, your breath from saying come to me froze.
Yeah.
No, I'm not getting in that water.
I hear you.
I never knew if sirens had the power to like convince you to do it, or they just throw their voice to make it seem like they're in trouble. You're concerned, now you want to jump in.
Right.
Because if that's the case, I gotta keep it phone lit.
That's the tricky one, because you do strike me as a man who would act. You would, enduring fight, flight, and freeze.
Yeah.
You would fight.
I support women, even to my own detriment. Absolutely.
You would also save a life. You wouldn't freeze. You wouldn't think twice. You would dive into like.
No, I would not. No, I'm not. I got to protect me first. I can't help you if I'm dead. I would throw a rope. Okay, and a lifesaver. One of the little circle of things. Like, hey, bitch, grab that. I threw it. Where are you? What side? I'm gonna throw it on that side. I'm not jumping in. You know how long it would take to warm up.
The waves are like pulling them away from the
bitch. Swim harder. You got to be a strong swimmer if you're in the water. You swim harder. I'm not doing it.
I'm so bad at swimming.
Yeah, me too. I can't even do it.
My mom hired a lifeguard, to try and teach me how to dive, because I was that little fat kid who would only wear a t-shirt in the water, and everyone called me Donut because my last name is Glazer, little fat kid. And so I swam with my shirt on, and I would only do cannonballs. You know what I mean? Because that's a good way to make friends. And then the donut hole in the middle is the splash and the cannonball. So she hired someone to try and teach me how to dive, because she was tired of seeing her roly-poly son
doing cannonball.
Doing cannonballs with his shirt on.
Yeah, you think he think he's killing it the whole time? Everybody, hey, look at this fat ass right here. Look at this little fat ass finna drain all the water out the pool. Yeah. Every time somebody pee in, they sing cannonball in there. Little butterball.
Yeah. And so the lifeguard gave up because he was like, he's just scared to dive in head first. It's a fear thing. It's not a technique thing. And I was like, yeah, you're not tricking me into putting my head down first. That's crazy.
That's how people die.
That's how people die.
Careful. That's how God makes angels.
Let's go home, dude.
Subscribe to the channel. click that like button. If you think you know somebody that would enjoy this episode, click that share button, drop kick it in the face. Okay? Right?
That was better than I would have done.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Drop kick that bitch in the face. Tell a friend about it, and make sure you pull up and make sure you comment. Like, we really want you guys engaged with this. That helps us know what you guys like, what you guys don't like, what you want more of, what you want less of. And we're reading these comments. We're taking note of it. We're adapting and we're adjusting and making changes because we want this to be as fun for you guys as it is for us. You know what I mean? At all times. You feel me?
Tahir, where can people find you?
Oh, I'm everywhere, baby. They call me a little stop sign in the hood. You can find me here. You look out the window. Oh, they go to here. But everything is in the description below. All my handles, all my socials, all the shows I might have coming up. You can find all of that. Just click one of them links. How about you, Mike Glazer?
Yeah, scroll right under yours, and there's mine.
I think I'm a bottom. You're more of a top.
You think so?
I think so.
That's one of the nicest things I've ever heard from.
You have soft eyes. You look like you need taken care of.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting. I appreciate that.
You're welcome.
Yeah. That's better than what my mom said, which was, I think you were born angry. So thank you. You can find me at Glazer Boohoo. I'm on tour all the time. I'm actually on tour all the time. It's amazing. I'm in a lot of cities. Come hang. Yeah.
As always, guys, we had a great time with you, and we'll see you next week. Until then, question everything. Peace. Well, if you enjoyed this episode and you're just fiending for some more, you should check out our episode on ancient alien gods. It kind of gives you a lot of the context that we were going into this with. Really fun. We've had some really fun episodes. I think you guys would enjoy that one.